Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is Beanie and welcome back to another video. Guys, I've been a busy little bee. I've been buzz. I'm trying to make a ton of content for you guys, and I'm freaking exhausted. I'm gonna try to have 2 more videos up for you today, and then I'm gonna try to take a freaking nap, and then tonight we are going to stream some more. And I just got another subscriber. You guys are insane. You can hear anytime I get that little ding, that's a subscriber. But anyways, guys, I have today what we're gonna be doing is I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a ton of stubs on the market. This has worked for me every single year. It's been working for me so far. I've only put like maybe 20 minutes into the market total, like here and there, since the game came out, and I've already made like almost 30,000 stubs off of it. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do that, and it's called working the market. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so what is working the market? Working the market is essentially very simple. It's just putting in a buy order. Let's see one that we can afford right now. Yeah, not that one. Let's go with this one right here. It is finding a piece of equipment that has a nice little gap between its buy now price and its sell now price. So what you want to do is you want to come in and you want to put in a buy order. I know it's kind of complicated, but if you put in a buy, or if you click right here and say create buy order, then it will go into the sell column, and if you create a sell order, it will go into the buy column. I know that that's kind of confusing, but that's just the way it works. So we are going to create a buy order, and we are going to go 1 stub higher than this piece of equipment. So that will be 3,562, and we are going to leave it there. And eventually, hopefully, we will have that. Someone will sell us that piece of equipment. And once they do, we will go in. As soon as that happens, we will go in. We will create a sell order, and we will sell it for 1 stub less than the lowest thing. I don't have it right now, but when they do sell it to me, did that just sell? It just sold to me. Beautiful. So now that has sold to me, I can go in and I can create a sell order for this piece of equipment for 1 stub less than the post price. And minusing off the 10% tax, that is going to give me a nice little 2,500 to 3,000 stub profit. And you can do this over and over again, provided you have the stubs to finance it. So my tips for working the market here. Look for big gaps. You know, like a gap like this right here is huge. You can make like 6,000-7,000 stubs, but be aware. I would look for big gaps, but gaps that are also stable. And it's kind of hard to tell which gaps are stable and which ones aren't. I usually look for gaps like, you know, this early in the game in the 6,000 to 7,000 stub range, maybe a little later on in the game in the 2,000 to 4,000 stub range. Anytime you see a gap like this where there are only 2 buy orders, that's another way to tell stability, is how many buy or sell orders, I guess, but in the buy column, how many people are trying to sell pieces of equipment. Like this right here, this is not a stable sell order, so this gap really isn't real. You want to look at ones that have multiple sell orders, like this one. This one is a little more stable. That one maybe not as stable. That one maybe not as stable. This one's pretty stable. But you see what I mean? Just the more sell orders that there are, the more stable that it's going to be. And early on in the game cycle, prices tend to fluctuate a lot. And there are going to be cases where you buy a piece of equipment for a set price of money, and for whatever reason you just can't sell that piece of equipment. The price keeps coming down, and you may end up losing a few, like a couple hundred stubs or something. Don't worry about that. That's a small loss. In the end, you're going to make a lot of stubs doing this. So a lot of people tell me that, you know, they'd like to make a lot of stubs working the market, and it seems like it's a great way to make stubs, but they don't want to sit here for hours on end, you know, grinding the market and, you know, doing things that, you know, it's just no fun. It's not part of the game, right? I understand that. If you're willing to put in about 5 to 10 minutes between every one of your games, I think that is reasonable. So what you need to do is play a game. When you get out of that game, come in and clear out all the orders that you had before, and put in new buy and sell orders. If you have pieces of equipment that you haven't sold yet, put in sell orders for those at 1 stub lower than the top amount or whatever, and then put in all the buy orders that you want to use to buy those pieces of equipment, and then go play another game. It takes about 5 minutes to do that, and just do that in between every game. And once you get back, clear out all the sell orders, see what pieces of equipment sold to you, and put a sell order in for them. So it happens very quickly. Between each game, you can maybe sell 3, 4, 5 pieces of equipment, and that's like 12, 15,000 stubs, especially early on in the year. That's a lot of stubs just, for taking 5 minutes in between your game to kind of go through the market and look and see what's happening. Now you can see right here, I'm on pieces of equipment. And from my experience, I've had a lot more luck selling and buying and flipping pieces of equipment than I have players. Early on in the year, you can find some decent gaps between players. Nothing incredible, but you can find some decent gaps, and you can find some stub making opportunities, definitely. But those gaps tend to shrink dramatically later in the year, whereas pieces of equipment, they shrink a little bit. They will shrink some as the year goes along, but they won't shrink to the point to where it's hard to even turn a profit because of the tags. They aren't going to shrink that much, at least not most of them. So yeah, I would target equipment. If you want to try to target players, that's cool. But if I were you, I would target pieces of equipment. And yeah, that is basically the gist of working the market. I'm going to get into a few other methods in just a second, but I just want to say, if any of you guys have any questions on this, if I haven't explained something clearly enough for you, then please just let me know in the comments, and I will try to answer your questions. I maybe can't get to all of them, but I'll try to get to most of them. And one last thing before we move on that I just want to say is, you do have to have stubs to do this. So I mean, it's the basic idea. You have to have stubs to make stubs, or you have to have money to make money, or you have to invest money to make money. That's kind of what you're doing here. So but you don't have to have a ton. If you have a nice little starting stack of like 20-30,000 stubs, you can put in about 5, 6, maybe 7 buy orders on pieces of diamond equipment. Diamond equipment is the best, by the way. It has the biggest gaps. It doesn't sell as fast, but it has huge gaps. So you could put in 5, 6, 7, and it'll probably go a little more slowly for you at the beginning. But once you get to the point to where you can put in a full page of buy and sell orders, which is, I think, 20, you can put in a maximum of 20. It'll start going a lot faster. You'll get a lot more buy orders running in, and you're going to get a lot more sells coming in too. And also, I forgot to mention this earlier. The reason why I said after every game you want to come in and you want to clear out all of your orders is because it's very likely that someone by that point will have come in and undercut you on your bid. So if you play a game and you come back, your price that you put on your piece of equipment likely isn't going to be the best price anymore. So you need to come in and you need to refresh that. And, so just clear them out, redo your buy orders, redo your sell orders, and then go from there. Now, if you want to make stubs faster, doing that game method is a nice way to make stubs steady, slowly but steadily. Now, if you want to do it faster, you're going to have to put in some time. You're going to have to put in an hour or two, a day, maybe just an hour of just doing nothing but buying and selling equipment and making sure that you have the top price on every buy and sell order that you have, and just kind of competing with the other people that are trying to work the market at the time. And if you do that, you'll make stubs very, very, very quickly. But it is kind of a grind, so I can understand why people wouldn't want to do that. Okay, now let's get into a couple other methods of making stubs. Okay, one method is Battle Royale. You can, do Battle Royale. I'm 8-0 right now, but not everybody can be great at the game or good at the game and go 12-0 or 12-1 or 9-2 or whatever to get pretty solid cards. It's tough to do. It's not super easy to do. So this method isn't for everybody, but I will tell you that events are very similar to Battle Royale. You have to get the same number of wins. It goes by very quickly. You can kind of pick your team instead of drafting your team, but the rewards for it are really good. They're usually worth up to like 50 or 60,000 stubs. Last year, that was usually the price range that they fell in. Maybe this year it'll be a little bit different. Maybe it'll be better. Maybe not. We'll see. But events are a really good way to kind of bolster either your team or your stub count. So yeah, and also I would say that unless you really want a card, like you think that card's going to be in your folder for a long time, anytime I got a flashback or something that I was kind of iffy on, I would sell it to get the stubs for it so that you can afford to invest in more and more equipment, maybe more expensive equipment with bigger gaps, so that you can make more and more stubs. And if you want to buy that card back later, go ahead and do it. That's fine. But just, for the time being, you may need those stubs. I'm seriously considering selling my Torii Hunter right now just so I can have the stubs to work the market. So you see what I'm saying. So Battle Royale events, rank seasons is also a way you get those cards. You can sell them, make stubs that way. Also, through March to October, I think you can make some stubs that way. Moments, you can make a few stubs that way. Through the featured programs, they have some missions that you can do to make. Well, no, they don't do they not give stubs for those missions? Maybe not. Maybe they don't give stubs, but they do give stubs as the rewards. Not a ton of stubs, but some stubs for those rewards. And Team Affinity, do they give stubs? I bet they do. Yeah, see, 2,500 stubs, 5,000, 5,000. You can actually make quite a bit of stubs, actually. You can make 12,500 stubs per Team Affinity. That's not bad. So if you want to kind of grind some Team Affinities to get stubs that way, you can do it that way. That's pretty nice. And then the final way, and this is definitely the most volatile way to make stubs, and I personally, I don't do it a ton. I do it some, but not a ton. And that is investing in cards. And this probably is the most popular way to go about it. To go about trying to make stubs is investing in players that you think are going to be updated in the roster updates, that they're going to be upgraded from gold to diamond, or from silver to gold, or maybe even silver to diamond, kind of more long term. Maybe even bronze to diamond. That's happened before. I think even common to diamond has happened with Aaron Judge in one year. So if you can find the players, if you're pretty baseball savvy, and you think that you can find the players that are really going to explode onto the scene and make a lot of stubs, it might be worth it for you to invest in that guy and buy up maybe, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, 100 of that guy, if you're very confident that you think that he will be upgraded. Now, realize that the market is going to see these things as well. So if you see a guy that's performing really well and you're like, okay, this guy is going to get an upgrade, definitely. You're not the only person that's thought that. Everybody else has thought that too. So his price is going to be elevated on the market. And at that point, it actually might not be worth buying him, because you're not going to get any return on your investment. But if you can kind of guess, it's kind of a guessing game. If you can guess who is going to be performing well and getting an upgrade before it happens, but to where the market hasn't really realized that this might be kind of a dark horse kind of guy that might be really good, if that happens, and if you can pull that off, you're going to be rolling in stubs, because it can pay off huge. If you find a bronze level player or a low silver that you think is going to go gold or going to go diamond, and you buy up a ton of them, and then let's say you buy up a 200 bronze players for like 50,000 stubs or something like that. I don't know how much it would cost, but let's just say that. And then that guy goes diamond. You have 200 of those guys. If you quick sell that card, you can quick sell that card for 5,000 stubs 200 times. That's 1 million stubs, isn't it? Is that right? Yeah, that's 1 million stubs, I think. Math is hard. But yeah, that's amazing, right? So yeah, investing is a good but very volatile way of making stubs. Flipping is far more consistent. So if you're looking for a low risk option for making stubs, flipping diamond equipment, I think, is probably going to end up being your best option. So anyways, guys, that is going to do it. If this video was helpful, please leave a like. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I will be streaming later on today. Also leave a comment with any thoughts or questions. I will be streaming later on tonight, so be ready for that. Last night's stream was hype. I said that in the last video. I had over 600 people in that stream, which just still, it blows my mind that I had that many people watching me at one time and I didn't freeze up like a freaking coconut, you know. I don't know what that means, but anyways, yeah, guys, I love you guys. I will see you guys later on, but until then, peace.